Hello, welcome Facebook, welcome Houstonians and Millennials. This is the Millennials and Money podcast number 3. I'm Ahmad Scott, licensed financial professional and affiliate of Millennials and Money. And to my left,
I'm Betty Nelson, licensed.
The Houston Housewives of Houston. My name is Cassinda Williams, Miss Cash.
All right. Okay. So welcome everybody. Episode 3. How y'all feeling today?
Good.
Yeah? I'm feeling excited. We have a lot going on.
Yes.
Counting down to Valentine's.
You know what? It feels like we're in like 2019 because January was so long. Like it was like a year within itself. It just felt like, oh man, next week is still January.
Right. It is zooming right by. And now we're in February already. And we're talking about Valentine's Day and so many other topics that are going on.
Well, it's the complete opposite for me. I feel like I'm still a year behind, still trying to play catch up. There's a lot going on and a lot of stuff to be anticipated, a lot of stuff that we're looking forward to, but I am excited.
Yes. So everybody, welcome once again to the Millennials and Money podcast. You're tuned into the Millennials and Money. We provide life-changing, life-altering, life-enhancing financial education at no cost. We bring it to you so that you can improve your financial future for if you're going to buy a house, you're buying a new car, for whatever. Come and see us so that we can get your financial situation A-okay, right? So we can be found on Facebook. You're tuning into us now, right? Millennials and Money on Facebook. We're on Instagram, Millennials_and_money, as well as we're on Meetup. We're everywhere. Google us. You can find us there, right?
Everywhere.
Yes. So email us, call in. What is it? 1-844-700-4463. You can call us there, or you can email us at info@millennials_money.com. So we want to be that resource for you. We want to be your accountability partner so that you can get your finances on point. So by this time, it's February. Valentine's is coming up.
Yes.
And if you're not sure what you're going to get that person, that special person in your life, your boo, your bae or whatever, and you're not sure, your money's looking a little funny, this is the episode for you. This is where we will get you right, get you straight, and let you know how to stretch those coins out, right? Without having to dip into that refund that you may have gotten, or, you know what I mean, really exhaust yourself before the month is over. So how y'all ladies feeling about that? This is y'all holiday Valentine. What'd you say, Betty?
I say that it's very important to discuss finances, even on Valentine's Day. I mean, make it special, right? But also make sure that if your money is a little funny, that this is the time where maybe next year, if you're with the same boo, with the same person that you're with, that you're not in the same situation.
Hold on. Y'all changing them out like that?
No, I never said we're changing it, but
right.
you know.
Just making sure, fellas, you know what I mean? You might be going all out for this gift, and that might not be your boo next year. So,
but there's levels to this.
Yes, there is.
There's levels to it.
What you mean by that?
Okay, well, first of all,
oh man,
you have what you already have going on. So you have your personal relationship with yourself. You have your own ideals. You have maybe the person that you're dating. You have the person that you're dating in your mind, because he might not really be that person, and really how it, I guess, comes along in like reality. Right. But then you also have the goals for that day and then the year round. So at the end of the day, it is just a day, but there's ways to think about it in other ways than just a day.
Oh, so he may not be your long-term goal is what you're saying.
Oh, you know what? There's daily goals set every day. Every day is a new day to start. You know, every day is like, whoop, reset.
Right.
So sometimes things don't work.
So
that might be the day.
Oh, so is Valentine like that the end of the cuffing season? Is that where it's over?
Oh, no, cuffing season ends in about, I think, 6 to 8 weeks when Groundhog Day comes around. You know, so when the groundhog comes,
right? Yeah. So when you're getting right for summer, like right before that time.
Right. It could be a little bit longer depending on what the groundhog says. Oh. We've been having ice days, so you might need to keep someone around a little bit longer. But there's no reason to go broke for that. Start making some soup. Get the hot chocolate. Pho is a awesome way. Get that, Uber Eats
culture,
going on. Yeah, there's ways to do it. Uber Eats, if it's your first time, you get $10 off. Yes.
Well, you might not necessarily be in a relationship. You may not have participated in the cuffing season. And so you've been single this entire time. So this might be a time for you to kind of treat yourself to getting a financial advisor and making some changes, right? And so, yeah, it's great. So a lot of times we buy shoes or we will, make some frivolous expenses. Maybe this is the time where you want to evaluate certain things and put some things into perspective. So look at your relationship, not necessarily with someone else, but look at your relationship with yourself and your habits and with your money. You have a relationship with your money.
So that's perfect. If we bring up our financial Bible, our blue book, right? We go over to page 8. Everybody has the blue book. We'll talk about paying yourself first.
Yes.
So when you're talking about that self-love, that building that relationship, the relationship you definitely want to have and the person you care most about should be yourself when it comes to your money. You know what I mean? So we definitely want to talk about paying yourself first. So when you're on your job, you're getting paid, as you see right there on your screen, is like paying yourself first, right? Set aside 5 to 10% of your income to save for the future. If possible, 15% or more, so that you can definitely treat yourself. So how do you guys feel about that, paying yourself first?
Well, self-love is the best love, right? So you're taking care of your finances. You want to pay yourself first. You want to have something to fall back on in case you have some type of emergency. You want to save. You don't want to wait at the last minute to decide, oh my goodness, I don't have this, or, you want to definitely plan ahead. And so, yeah, pay yourself first. Think of it as if it's another bill, right? And oftentimes we'll put the money in a certain account, and then it's easily accessible, and then you go back and you spend it again. So, absolutely think of it as a bill, and it also creates different habits, knowing that I'm putting money into a vehicle where later on down the line it keeps you disciplined, and you'll develop some really good habits for that later.
So another thing that you touched on was the building those money habits, right? So that relationship that you have with yourself will provide a good financial foundation for your money habits that you'll build in the end. So you want to have that good inner money self, right? That good inner sense of how your money and where it's going. So your personal relationship with money is very important. You definitely want to make sure that you know what you have, you know how much you're spending, you have a budget set up, your income, how much you have discretionary at the end of the month, so that you're allocating it properly to your bills, your savings, your debt, and things like that. So Cassandra, can you touch a little bit more on that, having that proper relationship with money?
Yes, definitely. So it's all about having those goals set. It's about having the blueprint of where you are today, also acknowledging the problems that you may have had and having that real discussion with yourself about where you want to go, and saying, hey, I need to live within my means. Keeping up with certain people don't always tell the truth about where they are in life. And at the end of the day, you're trying to keep up with something that isn't obtainable for yourself. It is not attainable because you don't have the proper income. And then on top of that, who are you keeping up with? Because no one else is paying your bills except for you.
Exactly.
And so when you start writing out those goals and writing out the debts that you have, then you can really understand what it is that you're trying to do going forward. And then you can start to really analyze, I have this amount of problems with credit. I'm doing really well over here with my income. I want to buy a house. I have this car I'm about to pay off, or I have a car that's on its last legs. I want to pay off. I have, family members or whatnot. And as we're talking about relationships, we must always remember we are a relationship of one. Whether we are with someone or without someone, it's always us.
Yes.
That person comes and they go, we're always there, left with or without money.
You know what? So touching on, again, what you said about who you're keeping up with, right? A lot of times for us millennials with social media going on, we're trying to keep up with other people. And with Valentine's going on, you know, you and your special person may have talked about a specific gift, may have set a personal money limit for the amount you want to spend on the gift. And then she goes and pulls up that her feed, her timeline is full of chicks. They're getting red bottoms, and you know what I mean. They're getting bundles and all this type of thing.
Right.
And,
bundles.
You know, hey, guys are getting creative. We're getting creative out there. You know what I mean. We want to touch something nice and silky. You know. So
no,
nice
sir. Is that really okay? Next.
So
right.
anyway though. You know, you want to keep in mind
your lotion. nice and silky.
Come on. You want to keep in mind the financial goals that you and your partner set, and don't get caught up into the social media trap. Because again, you're just seeing a snapshot of somebody's real life, and you don't know what they're going through. You don't know what's
going on behind the scenes.
Correct.
You know, the perception. I know there's a saying that says perception is reality, but it's not always reality, right? And so social media, we have the ability to create this image. And so many people are getting caught up in that.
Yes.
But we have platforms like Millennial and Money where we're keeping it real, we're keeping it 100 and trying to let you know there's help for you if you don't know how to save. So I know that you know, when I was younger, it was always told you have to save, and I'm like, what does that mean, right? Like, well, you have to save. So we're telling you have to pay yourself first. Put 10 to 15% down. That's what we're telling you. Put that in account. You know, and so relationships with yourself. I mean, everyone comes and goes, like you said, Cassandra, but you have a relationship with yourself. It's always going to be you. You may not be in the relationship that you're in now. And you have to be able to very much understand who you are, right? Even before you get in a relationship, you have to know who you are. You have to know what your habits are, because once you're in the relationship, all you're doing is combining those two, and there has to be a dialogue. And so I see that someone also asked, you know, about children, right? Relationship with children as well. How do you explain? I'm gonna shoot that back to you, Ahmad. How does money tie into relationship with your kids?
So myself, I'm a millennial, and I have a daughter. So I would say I see your question, Bianca, or your comment on the in the section. Thank you for tuning in and for commenting. Please share it, like it, invite some more people to the show. But I would definitely say it's all about your budget. If you have a proper budget set up, for myself, you know, everyone know that I'm a little frugal. So you want to make sure that when it comes to your kid, the entertainment things you want to do, the purchases you want to make for them, that is built into your budget so that you're not overstrapped, you're not overextending yourself. Because of course, you know, we feel guilty as parents. We don't want to deny our kids something, or if they're asking for something, want to make sure we're able to give them everything that they want. But also we got to keep in mind that we have real world bills and things that they have no idea about. So if we properly budget in each month expenses that's going to go to them, or entertainment for them and things like that, you're able to maintain your regular lifestyle and still take care of your kid. So that's what I would say about that. About you saying it's being harder to touch and not going to that money. If you have a proper budget set up, it'll definitely help out with that.
Yeah, and putting into practice, right? So if we're talking about paying yourself first, teaching them, how do you pay yourself first? So maybe put something aside in your piggy bank, right? And just developing that habit. By the time they become adults, they understand this, they already practiced it, and they just understand that that's the norm. You pay yourself first. It's the way it is.
So talking back to paying yourself first. So if you're you get paid hourly. We talk about this all the time at our workshops. If you come out to it, great job to Cassandra. She really killed workshop number 2. Whoop whoop to her. You know what I mean? Boss chicks, lady bosses. So with paying yourself first, if you get paid hourly, you definitely want that first hour of each day is yours. So if it's $10 an hour that you get paid, just throwing out figures, that first $10 of each day is your money. So when you get paid in those 2 weeks or whatever, you should be putting aside that amount of money into your bank account. That goes to you, that's set aside, that's different. A lot of times as millennials, we're taking that first hour anyway to walk around, socialize with people, talk about what just happened on Love and Hip Hop or something like that. We're probably not actually putting in work anyway. So you want to take that income from that first hour that you're generating and definitely set aside. So that's how you get into paying yourself first. So if your salary, you know, you can do the math, figure it out exactly how it breaks down to an hourly type of thing, so you can pay yourself first.
Well, again, it goes back to those habits. You just got to change the water cooler talk. What's the new cool?
Millennials and money.
Right. Millennials and money. Exactly. And where to find this information, because, we got a whole lot of problems. According to Jay-Z, we got 99 problems, but money should not really be one, because at the end of the day, it does not matter how much money you do or you don't make. You need to be able to understand how to live within your means. And so it's like, if you do have a family, I know from my own personal situation, my mother was awesome with holidays. She was really involved, and we got little trinkets that really had value in them. So for Valentine's Day, how she wanted to show her love to us was a matter of, maybe it was a little necklace, or maybe it was a Bible or a scripture. Everything does not need to be about something that is very valuable when it comes to the dollar sign. It has a value when it comes to the soul. And so even going forward in the future, there's a lot of things, even for myself, we can purchase for ourselves. There's not very many things that I'm going to just be blown off the, out of the universe,
right,
if someone bought for me. And if you can buy something for me that I can't buy for myself, I'm a little problem by it, especially if it's on Valentine's Day. Like, what you got up your sleeve?
Right.
But in all actuality, it's just about trying to keep people grounded, and also realizing that this is just one day, and there's several levels to the relationships that we have with people, and being able to have that conversation even before Valentine's Day. If this is someone that you're really trying to be with, making sure that you have those values and have those talks about money, that, not to say Valentine's Day is the day to do it, but leading up to it, because you don't want to go broke because you're trying to buy someone a diamond pendant who may not be there next year.
Oh man, this keeps coming up. This
but Visa gonna be there next year. Visa will be there next year.
Yes, and
American Express
they're
be
gonna
there
ask
next
for their
year.
money back.
They're gonna be there next month.
Right.
So you fellas, you hear that, right? You hear that you can go all elaborate on these chicks, and they may not be there, but those bills that you're accumulating from buying all this stuff will still be there. So
and not them dollar bills.
I would say
pump
the brakes
bills.
on breaking the bank.
Yes.
For these chicks who are temporary.
Make it thoughtful, like really put some thoughtful. Important. Right, instead of just going out and just buying.
That's not true. You can give a thoughtful gift, and as soon as she go down the timeline and see that her friend got this new Louis Vuitton bag, and she'll be like, oh, okay, so you got me a card handwritten from the heart. You can take this card and get out of my house with those Kraft macaronis and cheese that you brought.
I think, you are getting
I didn't say anything about a card
over here.
Oh, it has to be more than a card? I thought it's a thought
I would think it would be more than a card.
I thought about getting you those roses.
Extreme here.
Yeah.
Like I thought about getting you roses, flowers.
You thought about it, but what had happened was
granted, I'm not a person who likes flowers anyways, because they die.
Well, see, the person that you would be with would know that, right?
Exactly. You have to know who you're with.
Right, so what they like.
In the comment section, my boy Yancey, good looking out, he said a $50 Valentine budget.
Oh.
They got quiet on set, y'all.
No, seriously. I love being in Texas.
Thank you.
Being in Texas. Hi, Yancy.
Hi, Yancy.
So I love being in Texas because we have so many free opportunities that can really put us like on the map. Like, we're doing it big. The museum district makes it very affordable. HEB. I was like, what is HEB? What is it? Here, everybody's somebody. I don't know what it is. But at the end of the day, HEB is always going to have fresh fruits, fresh meals prepared for you.
That is
if
true.
You want to go to the seafood department, they have, especially on Bunker Hill, they have a very elaborate seafood department if you're really trying to make an impression. And so it's like, if you can cook it yourself or do something that y'all can cook with each other, it really can be a very fun and experience opportunity for you to get to know each other.
Right.
But again, it's just a day. Don't get caught up in the day, especially if you haven't been that person year round.
Right. And I mean, if you plan for the day, right, that's a little different because we're talking about planning, financial planning, right?
Yes, yes.
And so if you know that you're going to do something very elaborate for your Valentine's Day, that is something that you sat down in your budget and added that up. You know, it's a part of your budget. So if you're going to go all out for that one day, and spend $500, maybe you're going to go on a trip or whatever it is that you did, you planned for that day. So you're not doing things at the last minute. You're breaking the bank the last minute and trying to rush and find something, just to celebrate the day. You put thought into it. You planned it. Possibly in the beginning of January, so that by February 14th is beautiful and you won't have to go back to, Visa, American Express, like, okay, look, I need you to pay all this, Yeah, because you planned for it. And with everything that you do, whether it's a trip, whether it's spending for that day, whether it's coffee, whatever it is, you should know exactly what is in your bank account. You should be checking that daily, the beginning of the day, the end of the day. And so the same way you should be planning for Valentine's Day if you plan to celebrate the day. So
how can they find you, Betty, and get in touch with you so they can get those
Sure, absolutely. So you can email me at I have a okay, so Betty Nelson NYC .wfg@gmail.com. And I am out of Chicago, so we do have an office there. Yeah, shout out to Chi-Town. It's wonderful.
What about on social media? How can they find you?
On social media, you can find me on Instagram at AwesomeB, which is BE, and just send me a request. And I'm also on Facebook.
Okay. Cassandra, how can they email you and find you on social media?
As long as social media has been out, I have a pretty original name, so I have it kind of easy. So it's Cassandra, KASINDA .williams@gmail.com, and then for Instagram it's Cassandra Williams, KASINDA WILLIAMS. And then what else is there? Y'all can holler at your girl.
I will say, if you're watching this video and
on Facebook, right,
and you're trying to slide into Cassandra's DMs or you're trying to get her friend request, I know Cassandra personally, and it took 3 months for her to accept my request on Facebook and Instagram. So it's a long waiting list, fellas. If you're out there, you're trying to make her your Valentine. It's a long waiting list. But you can find me. You can email me at ahmad.scott01@gmail, and I'm on Facebook as Ahmad Scott and Instagram as Ahmad Scott.
So
pretty simple.
How long does it take for you to accept a friend request Valentine?
Excuse me?
Yeah. So how long would it?
Yeah. How long would it take you
to respond
to a what?
A request for a Valentine.
So we're gonna get back into talking about these finances
okay. We're not gonna talk about that. Okay.
Now my page is public, so you just send a friend request. We'll be friends, and we'll talk about how we can set you up a one-on-one to get this good financial education.
Valentine.
Financial education.
Financial education.
My page is kind of public too.
Kind of, not really.
Mine is semi-public, but I'll respond to your request.
But look, at the end of the day, we are here, and we're
here
making
for you.
Impact to the world, and we love the stuff that we are offering people. We love our platform, and we love the education. Absolutely. And we love how we're able to make it relevant, no matter how old you are, no matter what stage you are in your life. We can definitely make an impact, because I know that all this information that I've learned has made an impact on me. So speaking of which, making an impact on people and the lives and the relationships that we have, what we got next?
So
no, but seriously, because at the end of the day, we're over here, we're talking about dinners, we're talking about how to spend money, and we want to get to know people.
Yes.
But how do we really get to know people without it being too intimidating? There is a certain way, there's a finesse, there's a dripping with finesse. Hey, there's a je ne sais quoi. I don't know. But there is a way to actually ask when you're going on these dates and when you're getting to know people, to where you're not making it so direct and you're not making it intimidating, but it's actually fun, and you actually get to make it a lot more open-ended. But after you get to know the relationship with yourself, you're able to pose these questions and make it a little bit more fun and just get to know your person that you're dating.
So at what point in the initiating a relationship outside of yourself with that other person do you bring in finances? How soon can you talk about their finances, your finances, and their financial goals? When's the appropriate time? Is there a certain time period? Like, I got to know you for 3 months, 6 months, or?
I don't think it's necessarily a timeline. I think it's the level of comfort with the other person. And I mean, if you want a timeline, I would say the second date would be appropriate. I mean, you can touch on some things that don't necessarily have to be, well, how much is in your bank account? But you can say, you know, do you have any student loans? I mean, student loans is so common. I don't see it a problem to actually ask a question about that. Do you have student loans? Do you plan on paying off your student loans? And also be open and to talk about what's going on with yourself. Well, I also have student loans, and I definitely plan on, paying them off. How do you feel about that, right? And just make it non-judgmental, right? Because we're having a conversation, we're initiating the conversation, and we want to make sure that everyone's comfortable enough to where you can carry on the conversation to maybe your next date, if there's another one.
Well,
Okay.
even I know for me, credit score was just something that my parents were always talking about. So it goes back to a relationship that I had with my parents.
Yeah.
But not everyone has that same relationship, or they don't have that same relationship with money,
Right.
and they don't have that relationship with themselves because they haven't set out those goals or whatever the case may be. And so what ends up happening is when you go out with people, it's not about so much the second date. Again, as Betty said, it's about having that comfort. It's about having the open-ended conversations. So instead of saying, so do you know your credit score? What is it? What's your credit score number? What's your number? Yeah.
Know your number.
Right,
huh?
know your numbers.
Know your
There's a
number.
lot of
Let's
numbers
pull
for us
it
to
up
know.
now. No.
So
But-
if you go
Don't do
to
that.
you guys are seeing on your screen on Facebook the article which we're referring to, it's what is this on time.com about your money, how to talk money with your boyfriend or girlfriend, or before you say I do, basically, right? The conversation that you want to have. So it says here it's not exactly first date material, but at some point, like Betty said, probably that second date, it's not first date. Early on, couples ought to start talking about money, right? Best if the first discussion happens before the relationship takes a turn for the serious, like moving in together, getting engaged or married, or co-signing on a loan. So a young lady commented in the comment section that I'm going broke dating because I don't allow guys to pay for me. Fellas, this is somebody you definitely want to date. She's strong. She's strong. She's independent. She's, you know what I mean? Like,
She's
Hey.
She paid for herself.
She paid
Like,
for
Hit
herself.
her up. We about to get inbox like, what's her name?
Yo.
No.
Find-
No.
Hey,
Let him pay on the first
young lady,
date.
tag all your friends
Wow.
in there.
Don't
You know what I
do
mean? Let us know we can find more people like you. You know what I mean? Y'all want to be strong, independent. You know what I mean? This is 2018,
No.
right?
No.
We can go
a lot
down.
of me is
I
strong
wanna
and
be
independent.
strong. I want
need
someone
y'all
to
come
match.
with some realness.
Okay.
Don't come also.
I
there's
need
a
somebody to
fallacy.
match my independence and my strength. Okay, so no, we are going to pay for the first date, and if if you cannot pay for the first date, I don't think there will be a second one. It is okay to let a man. He should be paying for that first date. And so if you are going broke paying for all these first dates and they're not coming out to be second dates, then we're going to change our strategy and have the next person that you date pay for it.
Ow.
Okay.
So my opinion is.
Let's level up.
My opinion is it's not always about who pays or who doesn't pay. Obviously, if you're a man, and I feel if you are dating, you need to be able to afford it. Don't go dating people if you do not have the income and if you do not have enough to be taking people out to dinner. You can barely pay for yourself at happy hour. So first and foremost, and so for me, if I like you enough, then I might let you pay for it. But beyond that, it also comes down to saying, hey, should we go past? It's not even a matter of the second or third date. It's also just a matter of just having these habits set. We are in different parts of our lives. And so if that person is not on the same level as you are, as I might like to say, there's levels to it. But you want to know, hey, you know, if we're not on that level of talking finances or thinking about it, how can I connect you with the right people to then get on this level? Because finances are something that we have to deal with even before we even knew we had to deal with it. Yes. And then when we know that we have to deal with it, some people, it's too late. Yeah.
So
you
who are
don't
the right
want to
people?
Be with that person.
Who are the right people?
The right people for what? To take us out?
No,
or to have this conversation with? Or
for them to get their finances in order?
Well, everyone is really an advocate to be a person to get their finances in order. So just because people don't always know what they don't know. Right. And so when you're able to sit down with someone who is a financial professional, licensed, which is very important because we have a whole lot of people out here regurgitating information that they read from books.
Right.
But you could go read that book, but they're charging for it. And then what are they actually able to provide you in the end? And so that's a whole other conversation that we will talk about at some other time. Yes, but what it comes down to is the lifestyle and the habits that we must actually pick up. And as you start to talk more and think more about your personal finances, you realize how much of your life it really is that you want to say, this is a habit, this is my goal, this is a part of my blueprint. And not to say you have less money or more money, because there's always people that will have less or more than you. But the thing is, it's not about how much or how little you have. It's about how you use it and what you're trying to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it's all about how much you keep. You know what I mean? You don't have to make as much as everybody else. But if you're able to keep the majority of what you make, then you're actually winning. So the people that you want to contact are the Millennials and Money, of course. So you can email us at info@millennialsandmoney.com. Or if you're in the Houston area, come out to our office on Tuesday nights. We had one last night. It was incredible. Tuesday, 2500 East TC Jester, Suite 345, 7 p.m. We'll see you there. Or Saturday mornings, 10 a.m., same address, 2500 East TC Jester, Suite 345. And then if you're in the Chicagoland area.
If you're in Chicago, please visit us at 1 Trans Am Plaza, Suite 500 in Oak Brook Terrace. And send me an email. Oh, right. I need to give you my email address. So Betty Nelson, nyc.wfg@gmail.com or bnelson.abe@gmail.com.
Okay, so fellas, if you got a little bit nervous about, you know, having to pay, and, you know, I got something for you, especially if you're in the Houston area. Thursdays, every Thursday, all the museums are absolutely free. Take her out. Take her out to the natural, like the art museum. In front of the art museum, there's a food truck.
Art.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? $10 on a food truck meal or whatever. It'll be nostalgic.
That's all you pay?
$10 on a what?
Okay, right. He don't drink either.
So, I mean, so that's what I heard. You know. So go ahead.
It's a good time.
Go ahead, and there's several museums, so you can spend all day there. You know what I mean? It's a public place.
Yes.
She's like, oh, I want to grab a meal. You're like, this food truck is right here. There's no sense fighting this Houston traffic to go somewhere else. You know what I mean? Like, I got you. Listen, email me right here. The email is right there. Holla at me.
You need a budget date.
I'll set you up.
And a recommendation for a nice food truck.
I'll set you up. Yo, I know where the food truck's gonna be. I'll follow them on the gram. So like, hey, I got you covered.
Okay, that's an experience. I actually like the creativity, right? And so you get to learn something if you go to the museum. And also you get to spend that time, that experience, and you can also bring up different levels of conversation. So that's actually a good idea.
Yeah, and really getting to know someone, and again, it goes back to how compatible are you? What are your lifestyles? Yes. What do you have in common? And so it's not just about going out and splurging $200 or whatever. And even when you have the most awesome date, sometimes someone else has sponsored it. You find yourself some really awesome NBA tickets. It's happened to me. He didn't pay for it. I didn't pay for it. But somehow we ended up at a Rockets game. You got to know someone. You got to put in a little bit of work. And it could be a surprise.
Yes.
Okay.
It's all about the experience.
It really is.
That adds the value to that date. An unforgettable experience without having to break the bank. And then you get that conversation. You get to know each other. The relationship with yourself is always supposed to be getting to know yourself. And the relationship with someone else is also getting to know, in the process of knowing yourself, you're getting to know that person as well. I
love it. This is a good conversation. So this is the pre-Valentine Day edition, right? We have a lot of stuff. We'll see you guys on the radio before on Valentine's Day, but we won't be back on the podcast before Valentine. So we got a couple Millie bag questions. We'll throw these in throughout the show. So the first one came to us. The young lady said her boyfriend is strapped for cash, and is it okay if she gives him some money so that he can get her a gift? Let me go first.
Okay, because
can you repeat?
Okay. So let me repeat.
This is a good one, Ahmad. Please go first.
So the young lady says that my boyfriend has been strapped for cash. Is it okay if I give him some money so that he can partake in Valentine? So this is what I say to you.
I have a question.
Well, yeah,
I have a question.
Wait,
when did he get strapped for cash?
How do you know he's strapped for cash? Because then at some point,
and how long has he been?
So
the when, the whys, the how long?
So you knew.
Okay, so you know what? He's been outnumbered here. I don't know about this. Okay, so
it is time for him to get creative.
All right, so. Young
Go
lady,
ahead.
if you're watching, I know you're watching or whatever. You can remain anonymous. We didn't say any names.
It's all in love.
All in love.
Listen.
We here to help.
Yes.
Definitely.
Don't listen to
Get
Ahmad.
that man the amount of money that you need so that you can get this gift. Boo boo. Listen, boo boo. If you want, come on. If you want those shoes, you want that purse. You know what I mean? You want the new Michael Kors or whatever's hot right now.
Get it yourself.
Give him the money so that he can go and get it for you, and then you can floss on the gram and you be like
yourself a gift, and you basically sent someone to get your own gift.
Okay, now that's my opinion. If you want to keep this great guy, you know what I mean? What did Kanye West say?
I don't know.
One day he doing the dishes, the fries, and then next thing he's blowing up. Don't lose him right now, yo.
But look, what's love got to do with it? How I look at it is, you take that money and you hold on to it and you go out and have a Galentine's Day. Yes. But you know what? At the end of the day,
it's downgraded to the friend zone.
No, you go out with your homegirls.
Oh, okay. All right.
But you know what? But no. But it all
a whole other show.
Right, that's a whole other show. But at the end of the day, we are not here for relationship advice. We're not here for financial advice.
We are giving financial advice.
Financial advice.
And so what we should do then is you need to
financial advice, not relationship
for cash. If he is strapped for cash and you feel the need to aid him in providing you with a gift for Valentine's, then maybe this is the time where you see a financial advisor. Both of you sit down and analyze your respective finances, right? So you want to know where you are, and he wants to know where he is. I mean, I think that's the best gift that you can give each other. Sit down with a financial advisor. You don't have to do it together. But you know he is strapped for cash, but the question is, does he know he's strapped for cash? Right?
Yes, he does. He's coming to you for this. And if he is strapped for cash, but if he is strapped for cash, then y'all need to reevaluate why you're really getting these gifts. And so, on top of being strapped for cash, if you really are able to acknowledge this, then we need to again have a serious conversation and say, hey, what is it that we're trying to go? What is it that we're trying to do?
Yes.
Additionally, you might need to find a separate stream of income. And again, we have a lot of separate streams out here, but you need to find one that pays you.
Match your
my name is Miss Cash. The new hashtag is about to be Ms. MZ Cash flow, because the flow of cash has been coming in. And I promise you, this was not something that has been expected. But the thing is, if you don't know, then you don't know. But you know now, and you need to call somebody. Don't call Tyrone. Call Miss Cash.
And if you're in Chicago and you need some financial advice, planning, actually, please go ahead and email me, bnelson.abe@gmail.com or bettynelsonnyc.wfg@gmail.com. You can be in Chicago, you can be in New York, you can be anywhere nationwide. You can go ahead and just email me, and we can talk about some financial planning going forward.
And I'll be in California at the end of the month. So I am also in California, Texas, the Virgin Islands. I'm in Europe. So wherever it is that you want to be, you can find me. So, no, but for real, like, that's a real story. And I am always willing and ready to talk about it, because these are the things that is not just about one day. It is about our life.
Yes, your life.
Let's get these money bags.
So again,
okay,
we're not just available in Chicago and Houston. We're nationwide. So if whatever city you're in, contact us so we can send you to a local office there to get you the proper financial guidance. And we have technology. You're looking at us right now. We're way here in Houston. You're there.
Yes.
So we can definitely set up a web call as well to get your finances in order. But again, the last thing to that question for the young man and the young lady.
Don't give it to him.
We're still talking about money.
No, we're still talking about the last question.
We're talking about what should happen, but
what should happen is
she definitely she want to look forward to the future or whatever. Don't lose a good man listening to people you don't know. Listen to me. Get this young man.
What did you say? I'm so conflicted.
Yeah,
I'm saying you want to. This is about you. Valentine's Day is about the young. You want a good Valentine's Day. Get this man the money you need. Otherwise, you're gonna be looking on social media.
The money you need.
Can we unplug his mic? Look.
Give
we are
him
the children of the future. Teach them well.
Wait a minute.
Don't listen to Ahmad.
Come on, man.
But no, listen to this. So give him the money you need.
Yes.
Give him the money you need. So give away your money because you need it.
Well, you're getting it right back. You're getting it right back through these gifts.
Was that a question or a statement?
No?
That's a statement he made.
Yeah.
Oh.
Why would you give away your money if you need it? So why don't you just use it yourself? I don't understand why.
You know.
So if you give the money, here's why I say it's not a good idea. If you give him the money to buy you a Valentine's Day gift, then you're going to get sucked in a habit in a cycle that you will not get out of. It's going to become a codependent, and I'm not a psychologist by any means, but it's developing a habit that you don't necessarily want to fall into. It's always going to be, I need this, I need that, and you're going to feel the need to always aid that person and bail them out. And the best way for him at this point to learn about how to use this $25 effectively is to get creative. He needs to get out of that habit. There's a money habit here that needs to be addressed, and he has to be able to recognize that. And one way to recognize that is with a financial advisor, but you cannot give him the money because you don't want that habit to continue.
Okay, and so really, in all realness and actuality, it is not about the gifts. It is not about the money. Mm-hmm. Why even be concerned about that? We need to just live our lives, and we need to have some real active goals.
Yes.
In the other 364, depending on if it's a leap year, it may vary. But you need to understand those different days of the year and where you're at and where your goals are. I mean, this is a fun topic, but really in all actuality, people really get caught up in it. And it's not fun because you're at so many different stages. You're either new, you're in a still relationship, you're in a relationship that you're just in out of staying together for financial reasons, which is a whole other conversation. or you're just there just out of convenience. But really, it's not about the gift, because this day is going to come and go, and you guys are still who you are, and you still have those goals, and you really need to adhere to them. So don't be caught up by money. And I think that that's a very slippery slope that we get into, you know, and it's not even about millennials. And actually, we might be a little bit smarter, because we have so many different smart ways to get into things. But we have people who have fed us different issues or different ideas of what we need to do. And you just need to really break those bad habits and have a conversation. It's all about the conversation. It's all about reinventing yourself to be a better you for the next 30, 40, 50 years of your life. Yes, you're living the best days of your life for the next 50 years. And all that comes back down to, as we started with, is the relationship that you have with money, and being able to actually have that conversation with somebody in a very articulate and a very non-intrusive way.
Exactly.
And that's it. And if you can't do it, just like marriage counseling, we have financial counselors, financial advisors, financial professionals, financial educators, all of this. Just find someone to converse with you about it. Not solely always us, but you need to recreate that you need to recreate your thoughts on finances and the conversation around it.
So if you saw on your screens earlier, we'll put it right back up, talking about some statistics that we have out here in the real world, right? I'll read from it. It says 33% or more than 77 million Americans do not pay their bills on time. 39% carry credit card debt from month to month. Again, this is out of our blue book, our financial 101 book. Contact us. We'll get a book out to you. No problem. But this fact right here, the next one, only 59% of adults, these are people who are over the age of 18, who are adulting in the real world, you know what I mean, who say, I'm grown and they know better, say they have savings. So there's a large percentage of Americans and adults out there who don't have a savings, who have nothing set up. And we started the conversation, we started this podcast talking about paying yourself first, and definitely building up that relationship with yourself and with money, right? So you want to make sure that your relationship with money is better than your relationship with anybody else, or before you even hop into that relationship.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So that's definitely something. Are you a spender or are you a saver? Valentine's Day exposes a lot of people for what they really are, and they become spenders. It becomes about what my friend has and what they have and this and that, right? A young lady said in the comments, he knew Valentine's Day was coming up all year, right? How come he didn't save for it? And this is what we're telling you for. If you have anything coming up, whether birthdays coming up, you know, spring breaks coming up, you know what I mean, summertime's coming up, save for it, prepare for it. As Betty said, set that budget and put those things inside your budget so that you know that you're prepared for it.
Yes, and being in total control of your finances, right? You can be your own financial planner. Having that goal set every day, like I mentioned, the habits that you build, knowing exactly what's in your bank account. And you know what? I get it. It may not necessarily be the number that you're looking for when you look at the bank account, but avoiding it is not helping, is not aiding the problem. Do not avoid it. The more you can look at it and see where you really are and know where you are on a daily basis, the more conscientious you will be when it comes to your spending. You'll know, okay, well, do I really need to spend this? You'll think twice about just swiping your card, because you checked your account that morning. You know exactly how much you have. And then when you go back home at night and you check again, you're like, well, I probably shouldn't have spent as much here. Next time, you'll make better decisions about what you're spending. So just basically being aware of where you are, planning for where you're going. Valentine's Day, again, is one day. Don't get caught up. We're laughing and we're, you know, having a good time. But, you know, again, in all seriousness, you really need to focus on where you are, your personal finances, the relationships that you have with your money. It ties into other things. It spills into other things, but that's a whole other topic. But you need to be in total control. And you have a sense of control when you know exactly where your money is. And so it's important that you do know. You can plan for things later down the line. And it doesn't matter what bracket in your salary that you are, there's always a solution. You just basically have to plan it out.
Yes. Get the solutions.
Get the solution. And if you need some more solutions, if you're in Chicago, you can find me at One Trans Am Plaza, Suite 500, Oak Brook Terrace. If you want to email me, you can email me at bettynelson.wfg@gmail.com or bnelson.abe@gmail.com. I'm also on Instagram, AwesomeB.
Yes. So if you're in the Houston area, you can find us every Tuesday night, every Saturday morning at 2500 East TC Jester, Suite 345. We do free financial workshops to teach you all about the financial basics. So that, again, like Cassandra said, it's a natural conversation that we're having with you one-on-one in plain language, millennial to millennial, right? We have our hashtag Millie to Millie, right? Millennials to millionaires. So this is something that we definitely want to provide to you. And Cassandra, how can they find you again?
They can find me at 2500 East TC Jester on Tuesdays and Saturdays. And then also Cassandra.williams@gmail.com on Instagram. Regardless of what he says, I do answer. It's Cassandra.williams or Cassandra.williams@gmail.com, and also on Facebook as Cassandra Williams.
Okay, so we're coming to the wrapping it all up, right? So we talked about having that personal relationship with your finances before you get into a relationship with your boyfriend, girlfriend, or whatever. You want to make sure that you guys have that conversation about second date. Betty said, right, about the second or third date.
Around the second date, I think it's appropriate to start asking some, questions, about, again, do you have student loans? Do you plan on paying for your student loans? It's one thing to have student loans, but do you actually plan on paying them off? Because then you have a plan, right? Also, what are some of your financial goals? When do you plan on retiring? That's a good question, or do you plan to work for the rest of your life, or do you want to build a business? What are those goals? So if you're a little bit more seasoned in your relationship, you would want to go a little deeper, a lot deeper actually. Maybe set a time where you two can talk about different topics when it comes to finances. So make it a date night. You'll understand that maybe once a month or however time that you both agree to schedule, but having that ongoing relationship conversation about money, right? It's not when some type of urgency comes up and all of a sudden now we're talking about it. You want to always be talking about money with your partner, even, if you guys are just dating, getting to know one another, whichever title you put down, or you're engaged or after you're married. The conversation always needs to be ongoing. It needs to be consistent. And together, you can go ahead and build some relationship money goals or finance goals.
Well, even beyond that. Oh, sorry. So even beyond that, it all starts with you. And if you don't know what you have going on, it's really hard to implement this with someone else. And it's hard to have it be a natural conversation. Mm-hmm. And so it's like, if you're not comfortable with talking about it, and if you actually haven't had this personal financial strategy and knowing where you're going in life, it's going to be really hard to expect somebody else. Like, we're not about the hypocrisy out here. We're about growing, and we're about helping each other. It's like all of us are really, we're good people, and we find each other at different seasons or different ages and all this in our lives. But what ends up happening is some people know more than others. Some people have more money than others. Some people have more student loans than others. Some people are more readily prepared than others. Mm-hmm. And we're just all just trying to win. But just really having that, that fair conversation. And no, it's all fun and games. It's not second date. It's not the first date. It's really about when it's important and when it's comfortable. But it does need to happen, because there's too many divorces. There's too many friendships that happen because people, can I borrow? Can I, can I use your credit? And people undermining their credit scores, people that are really far in debt in student loans, and that transfers over to a marriage. Mm-hmm. Or people who say, well, I'm saving for my college or my kids' college career. What have you started to do? Just really being able to understand what the next 20 years happens, or the implications of it. So this is really just like a life lesson on all levels. And no, it's not a conversation that you're going to have with everybody, but when you find that somebody, it is definitely a conversation that needs to be happened, first of all, in a very earlier part of the stage.
And the great thing about being millennials is time is on our side. We have so much time. So if you're mid-20s, early 30s, and your credit is not great, relax. You still have time. You can still accomplish all the things that you want to do.
Don't relax too much.
But definitely come see us so that we can get you in order. Miss Danielle Copeland, right? She says, couples who don't live together, do you help each other with bills or every man for themselves? I will go first.
Please.
Yes, please.
Danielle, or any lady out there, if this...
holding my breath.
Oh, I'm so scared.
Come on.
What are you going to say? Pay all his bills?
Not at all. Not at all.
Okay.
If your Boaz come at you and he's like, hey, you know what I mean? Go ahead and help me out on this bill because you running up my, you in and out the house. You leave the lights on. You take these long, hot showers, running up my water bill. You're always trying to look at my Netflix bill. You know what I mean? All this
That's
stuff
how
that
he's
you're running
asking
up,
to pay.
Uber Eats and I'm ordering Uber for you to come over. It's still wintertime in some places where you, Missouri, right? It gets pretty bad out there. So he's putting out a lot of money for you to make sure you're comfortable.
You over here playing PlayStation. You over here making top ramen every day.
Definitely.
You over here. Look, don't get mad at me because I shower.
Definitely go ahead and if you asking me, I'm saying go ahead and slide him a couple $100 so that he can take care of the bills
to give in his savings
that
account?
y'all help that you was a part of creating. So that's what I have to say.
No, I'm not responsible.
What you got, Betty?
See, this goes back to knowing your relationship with money, right? Because you said
not your
help
relationship
create.
with Ahmad. This is a problem.
Yeah.
Betty,
So
please.
this goes back to your relationship with money. Wow. Who don't live together. You don't live together. Do you help each other with bills? I mean, if you had the conversation, I feel like, that maybe this would be something that needs to be addressed together. Why is this person not being able to pay their bills and they have their own place? Right. Well, I'm gonna assume they have their own place. It doesn't really say that in the comment.
She definitely should help with the bills or whatever. You know what I mean? I'm sure his phone bill is the way it is because of she's always checking. This goes back to what she's doing to the young man. But
she's doing.
Can I be the voice of reason here? Can I be the voice of reason? We need to get you and him a personal financial strategy, please. Por favor. Clue or whatever it is in the other languages. Look, I'm working on my Rosetta Stone. That was my 2018.
I'm sure he bought that too. Right?
There is no he. It is only we right here. But at the end of the day, you make sure you know where you stand, and you make sure he knows where he stands. Whether y'all do it together or collectively or separate or with his family or whatever, you need to get it done because these conversations should not be happening outside of marriage counseling, financial counseling, one-on-one with you and or with your couple or mate or whoever it is you are with. You need to make it happen because this is the rest of your life.
So I'm just, you seem
like you're a bit floored.
I'm a little puzzled about the question. So it's like, is this an ongoing situation or is this just this, this happened, at some point and, it's like an emergency. Like, again, this goes back to habits. If you or someone is always on emergency mode and, I'm not, if you're always on emergency mode, you really need a financial advisor.
You definitely need that emergency fund. But I shout out to the young man for not dipping into his emergency fund for something that someone else created. So again, Valentine's Day is 7 days away.
Please see a financial advisor, and then we can go ahead and talk about it offline. You can contact any of us, and we can really kind of guide you.
Yes,
I have a few more questions as to why we even got as far as helping each other with bills.
Right.
You could be it could be a long-term relationship. It could be a 2-day relationship. We don't know that. So I think
never know. It be cold around here. It be icing up. You know, we stay home for extended periods of time. The delivery boy can't get back home. We don't know. Yeah. But at the end of the day, you can inbox us. You can find us on several different places. Yes. You can even send this to your friends. We are on YouTube.
Please share it with your friends.
We are all over this place sharing this wonderful information. But at the end of the day, no information means anything if you do not do anything with it.
Yes.
Right.
Information is powerful, but you have to apply it.
So, but before we wrap up, what are your Valentine plans? It's a week away. What do you got going on, Betty?
Well, I don't know yet.
Cassandra?
About to make this money. Look, I got people out there who gonna hit me up asking me about, hey, I need to save. It happens every day. We're always having these conversations. And again, this is a habit that I started, and it's starting to leak from me. That's cute. You cute. How much those shoes cost you? What kind of job do you have? How's your 401k? How's this market? Oh, how's your car? How was Harvey for you? Did you have an emergency fund? There is always a way to have it be a conversation. And unfortunately and fortunately, it is starting to be a conversation topic for me. So I guarantee you I will be talking to somebody, one of my girlfriends on Galentine's or a guy on Valentine's, maybe the waiter. But I'm going to be talking to somebody.
Well, again, thank you guys for tuning in to Millennials and Money episode number 3. We're all over social media. This will be reposted on Facebook, on YouTube, everywhere. So share it, send it to a friend. This is some good information. But again, contact us, hit us up on the Millennials and Money inbox, and we'll reach back out to you. Yes. So again, thank you, Houston. Thank you, Millennials. Thank you, Facebook. And we'll see you again next time.
Yeah. Bye.